Some things you're gonna laugh, bro. You're gonna laugh.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, the thing is, like, I always go into this like thinking, okay, I want to get to know you. I want to know what you're about, but I don't want it to be like a interview, you know?
Just like talking almost. I think it's more like a conversation, if anything, right? It's
Exactly.
not like
Just like shooting the shit, just like, you know, going off on like a tangent, talking about something and then going off of that. So it's really hard. I'm still trying to figure it out,
You're
but
doing a good job, bro. I watched a few of your episodes. I watched the one with Luca. I watched the one, the recent one. That was pretty inspiring, actually. What they were talking about, like his mother and the whole situation with like running. That's like I resonated with that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like it. I like the vibe.
That was a really good one. Yeah,
Hell
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now the Luca one was really old though. It was a really shitty mic, but this is like
You got the Joe Rogan mics now. Let's
the
go.
Joe Rogan. Shout out Joe Rogan, man.
Shout out Joe Rogan.
But let's get right into it, man. Episode 11 with Ashkan, the man behind ProperDirty, a local clothing brand, fashion line in the city. And man, thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, no problem. And so it's funny because I always wonder how I like stumble upon, like different things. And I remember your profile because I creep a lot on Instagram. I'm just like scrolling, and then I found it. I found the page. I'm like, oh shit, this is some dope fucking stuff, And I didn't know it was owned by you, but I was following you beforehand. I was following your personal beforehand, and I was just like, oh wow, this is really dope. And that's how I, got to know you, and I figured out who you are. So, man, so like, tell me about ProperDirty. Where did it start? The name, the origins, from day one until now. Just like a very brief, like.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Yeah, it's funny how we just like connected randomly through Instagram. We're like sitting here now. It's crazy. But for ProperDirty, I guess it kind of started in 2017, I want to say. I just moved back to Vancouver from the States. I was studying in Maryland. I was doing my last year of university there. So I moved back, and it was just this kind of period of like, what am I going to do? And like literally the day after I landed, I went to Tofino with my brother and his best friends. And like the second night, we're all out on the beach, drinking a little bit of wine. The moon was out. It was just like the perfect kind of welcome home. Like, it was beautiful. Like, and one of his friends was kind of like passed out, and there was like a fire and everything. And there was good music going. And it got to this point where like it elevated, like the music was elevated, and out of nowhere he just like woke up and he was like, holy shit, that was so ProperDirty. And I was like, that's the feeling, like ProperDirty, like I want to capture that. Wow. I didn't know at that time like it's gonna be a clothing line. I was like, ProperDirty, that just became a thing.
ProperDirty, right?
ProperDirty, it was like a feeling. And essentially, I like at that time I wanted to start my clothing brand. I didn't know if I was gonna go like to law school. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I was like, yo, ProperDirty, like that's it.
I have to do something with that name, whatever it might be,
because it was just such an honest reaction, and then from there, that was like 2017. Fast forward, I launched in 2019. So essentially, I got a internship in New York for this fashion house called Naeem Khan. And they make like bridal dresses and like red carpet type shit,
Yeah.
And I don't have any experience with that. But they accepted me. My visa didn't go through like a week before my flight. And I had everything planned, So when that fell through, I just like knew I was like ProperDirty, baby.
ProperDirty.
And a year later, I spent the whole year kind of designing, and I launched that summer, so 2019.
Right.
And since then, I've just been added a few collections now, and yeah, man,
selling shit out. So yeah, there's a lot of sold outs.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. So my thing is, I want to ask you this: have you always been into fashion, or did you know at a young age that you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? You know what I mean? Because there's a difference between, knowing that you want to be an entrepreneur and then using fashion to create your brand, or you were always into fashion, you were really into that field, and then you use that as an anchor to start your business. You know what I mean? So which,
Yeah, man. I think from my like as far back as my memory goes, like I always liked fashion. I was that guy in high school that like never wore the same outfit twice. Like if you ask my like childhood friends, they're always like, that's what they knew me for, and I just kind of like, it's not that I was like chasing. I was just attracted to like different colors, like weird shit. Like I would wear like different clothes. Sometimes made fun of, like sometimes not, but I always liked it. It's like I was always comfortable with like wearing different stuff and like exploring, like finding different brands. So I chased it, and like on my last year of high school, like if you look at my yearbook, like that was my wish. It was like Ashkan wishes to start his clothing brand and one day open up his store and become a businessman. Like that was literally like what I wrote down.
Wow.
And they said that. So like that's still there. And like, yeah, like I've always liked it, and now it's just kind of like falling into place. Like that dream, I guess, kind of fulfilled itself now that I open up my showroom and I just see these things. Like I just look back on it and I'm like, I kind of wrote this shit down.
Yeah. This was destined to happen. Like after you wrote it down, it's like there's no way it's not gonna happen.
Exactly. Like I was working for it all this time. I just had it in the back of my mind that like, check this one off, because like I was like working for it for so long, right?
Yeah. That's cool, man. Because I can definitely tell from your profile and your personal that you're really into like the fashion sense, and you push boundaries and what people you push your boundaries whenever you wear something. And even right now I feel underdressed. I feel like I'm not like up to standard, so it's cool, man, because like for me with this podcast, I literally just thought to myself, like, I like talking to people, and apparently I have a good voice. So I was like, fuck it, why not start a podcast,
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that my passion was like talking and conversing. So it just led to me like thinking, why not?
Yeah,
right?
I feel like a lot of, like, I'm not sure if you probably have different passions too. It's not like I only liked clothing and fashion and streetwear and this stuff. Like I had different desires and different passions too. Like everyone does, whether it's like music or like acting or like just creating. Like I feel like creating is what I like doing. Storytelling is like what I like doing, but clothing and fashion is just like how I do that. And I could have went a different lane. You maybe could have went a different lane in your life as well, but I just stuck to this one thing throughout the years, because like I've built on it. Like I've studied it. I failed. I've had success, and I just stuck to this, at least up until now. For now, But I think you have to have different passions. You have to have different like motives in life that like also push you. So I'm not just like stuck on this thing, but this is what I've put most of my time towards. So I want to see the success that I already have in my mind that I'm chasing.
You might as well just go all in for it and
For
see,
sure. Yeah,
see where it goes. Like
that's it.
that's and that's interesting, because it sort of segues into my next point. What I see from ProperDirty, it's almost, I was thinking about it last night. It's not I wouldn't say it's solely a clothing line. It's like almost like a cultural brand that you're trying to put into the city. You've got different things like fucking condoms, like soap, and like it's just, and like the collection itself, it's very inspired by different mainstream entities. You know what I mean? Like, so do you, when you make your collection and when you put out the shirts and the hats and everything, do you grab inspiration from everyday life, or is it something that's like within you? You put yourself into the collections.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
yeah, that's a good question. I think I think a bit of both, like everything, every collection wise, if you're looking at like, I have three collections. They're all telling a story, and that story is either experienced by me or I've been affected by it somehow. So whether it's like the emotions collection where it's like about love, anger, happiness, and all these different emotions, like we all go through that, obviously. So it's drawing from personal experience. The second one is like sexually charged, it's all about like vintage Playboy. And that's like me through going and ordering. Like I had like a bunch of like, I had like the whole year from 1984. Like I had 12 issues, and I just like,
Damn, let's go.
like, yeah, because like it's so cool, right? Like I like vintage stuff. Like it's so popular now too. But I was just like looking through it, looking at the ads, looking at the models, how the women looked, how the men looked, what they were wearing, the culture then. And it just kind of spiraled into that collection. And then it was just like, there was like a juxtaposition between the old covers, like 1984, and my shirt, which was like a new cover. So like I took like the titles that were like Babes of Broadway, it was like Babes of IG, like I was just yeah. So it was just every collection, or the Harley collection is like I drive a Harley Davidson.
Right.
I
Right.
love that motorcycle culture. So it's like, yeah, there's definitely an influence from me in my life, but those are like the bigger pictures. Like that's like everyone. There's a lot of people who are familiar with like the bike culture, or like Playboy, and
Straight up, yeah. So one of the hoodies you have is the it's like the Pornhub themed, ProperDirty. It's the logo, and I was just thinking, like, do you ever get like feedback from that? It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, that's way too like over the line, just because like people are very sensitive. I don't think people do, but what's your experience on, like, do they ever?
That was the fastest selling out hoodie.
Oh shit.
That was the fastest selling out hoodie, and like it just speaks for itself. I don't know whether it's like sex sells or all of that. Like I know it's a little bit controversial, but that's a logo that like
it's universal. Everyone knows about that logo,
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Shit, I still know about that logo. I saw that logo last night.
Exactly. So it was a successful one, and I don't know. I didn't receive personally any negative feedback about the whole thing. There's gonna be people that don't like what you put out, or they have things to say, but at the end of the day, I'd rather them not like it than be kind of have no stance. Like you either want like or dislike. You never want to be in the middle and have like an indifference. I feel like that's when your art isn't really doing its job, I guess.
Indifference, yeah. So what do you like indifference?
Indifference means like for example, if you look at it, like we can talk about albums wise, like the Yeezus. Did you ever heard anyone say, I don't know, so it's like either like, yo, I love it, or it's like, yo, what the fuck was that? It's never like a middle ground.
Right.
And I feel like that's the one that's gonna get the reaction, and people are either gonna love it, hate it, but it's gonna push the boundaries, maybe introduce something new, or it might not, but at least there was like some level of risk to get people to react and feel some type of way.
That's a perfect example. Yeezus, yeah. Because the album was really like it had a lot of weird different feedback. It was either you fucking hated it, or it was really like amazing. So that's actually interesting, and like that makes sense, because a lot of albums that I'm kind of indifferent on, there's a few good songs, but then a lot of below average songs, I tend to lean towards I don't really like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not even like, you're right. You either got to be on this side, or, you pick a fucking side. Don't. Yeah.
100%.
Damn.
That's why I feel like it.
Yeah. So do you ever, like, speaking on that, do you ever feel like you're almost catering. Do you ever feel like you cater towards what the general public wants and you deviate away from your authenticity? You know what I mean? Like, do you ever feel like you need to do that? Because a lot of like, whether it be music, rap, performing, or whatever, a lot of, you know, artists and creatives start losing, you know, why they started in the first place and their passion and authenticity, and they try to cater towards the general public.
Yeah.
Right? Do you ever feel like you're going in that direction, or ever think about it?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, man. It's a little bit of a battle, I feel like, with clothing, because there's like ongoing trends every day that people like see on Instagram, and they like a certain thing and they want it right away. And as a creator, if you're making clothing, business wise, you want to sell and you want to cater to what most people want. But then there's the creative aspect of like, you just want to make it for the sake of making. Like, you don't really care. Like, you like some kind of fabric, you want to tell a certain story, and it might not be what's like popping right now, but it's what you want to tell. And I struggle with it, obviously. But like, an interesting that I did when I originally had like my idea, um, I just used to go. I deleted my Instagram. I was like, I don't want to get any influence, because I follow like bunch of designers, bunch of like pages, and I just wanted to go off and just create something that just came natural. So like, for that whole year beforehand, I would sit in a different cafeteria every day. Wow. And I have this like notebook, and my first collection was based on 4 emotions. So like, every cafeteria was a different emotion, and I would just like sit there with my coffee, and I would think like what it would look like. What would the silhouettes look like if someone wore it? If it was agony, would it be slumped over and slouchy? What would the colors be? What is someone beside me having like what is their conversation about? Does it relate to like love? What is like, how has my past related to these things? So I just wrote those notes down, and then that whole collection came off of me like genuinely just creating whatever I wanted to, without any stimulus, any outside forces telling me, yo, we want this, we want. I didn't give a shit. Like, I was like, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna get it done. And then ever since then, obviously, I have Instagram now. I have to promote, and I'd be lying if I say I don't get influence. I have to cater as a business owner. You have to cater to what people want to keep your business going, so you can also make your creative side flourish, because then you're funding it.
Exactly.
But yeah, but like, there has to be a balance, because I always feel like I'm happiest when I just like drop whatever I like want.
Just whatever the fuck you want in that moment. Yeah.
That's it.
Whatever you're feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But obviously, with the times too, like COVID, like at the start, especially like last year, I was like, I had to scratch my whole collection. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna put out this like button up, and like people don't need that right now. People want like comfy loungewear, So there's like definitely things that affect me as a creator, but I don't like trends. Like, I've never like really dressed because of a trend, or I've never bought anything really like because I'm like, yo, I need this just because like it's popping right now.
Right.
I just dress whatever I feel like, and that's it. Like,
I think a lot of times with trends, it's almost because for some reason right now I'm really into oversized hoodies, like really oversized, and I think that just came from like watching Kanye and looking at him and his, like, he really doesn't give a fuck about what he puts out. And I actually watched a couple of interviews of him talking about his the process of making Yeezys, and it's basically, he was saying it's an 8-year-old kid. I'm going back to my my young days, my 8 to 10-year-old kid, just drawing in school, and he just, and like from that, he's Kanye, but he's obviously made like $1 billion, multi-millionaire dollar company, So,
Yeah,
is Kanye a guy that you look up to? Like, who are you know what I mean? Who are the guys in the game like that
yeah,
you're like,
for
okay,
sure, man. Kanye, I mean, he's influenced like a whole generation. I was in like high school. I remember he dropped the Nike Yeezys,
oh yeah,
and I paid my boy like $50 to line up outside livestock for them. I grabbed like 2 pairs, bro. I still have them, and of course, man. Growing up, like Kanye is one of those guys that like most people look up to, either hate him or love him. Again, most people they are not like, oh, whatever Kanye was. They like love that guy or like hate him. But idol wise, I feel like with fashion, with like life, everything, I think Pharrell Williams is probably my number one. Like from the way he like carries himself to the brands that he's had, his sound, he's just like tropical, his energy is just always on. He's just a happy, like good, his definition of like good vibes, and he's
right,
always like fearless with whatever he wears. Like he wears like his brand Billionaire Boys Club. He like made Billionaire Girls Club, and he like wears both. He doesn't give a shit. He's just authentically himself, fully secure. Um, so like from fashion stance and just like growing up, I looked up to Pharrell a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Billionaire Boys Club was the shit,
Oh,
especially for Persians, dude. Me, oh man, all the homies were Billionaire Boys Club, and Ed Hardy.
Oh, Ed Hardy.
Ed Hardy was the shit, man.
Yeah, that
Damn.
was like my brother. Yeah, for sure. He rocked Ed Hardy. I escaped that phase, but it's coming back now.
It's crazy, man. Yeah.
It's pretty dope. I mean, he had his own style, so
Yeah.
can't be mad.
I remember, like, I know Supreme was a thing
Yeah.
back in high school, and then it dropped off. But now, like, in the past several years, it's like gone crazy. And like, I didn't know this, but Supreme's like made like the most random shit. They put like bricks, like literal bricks, and all they do is just put Supreme on it, and people buy it.
Yeah.
It's so polarizing, man. Like,
yeah, man. That's like brand value at its finest. You don't have to do much. You just slap it on a t-shirt, like, and it just sells. It goes crazy, like every time. And
it's like,
I don't know, I've never been a Supreme guy, like no hate towards them or anything. Like what they've done with like building up their brand, I think it just speaks for itself. Like as you said, it's just like there's lineups every time, every drop gets sold out. Their business model is like amazing. Like I the thing that I love most about Supreme is probably their business models, with how they do their drops, how they're not like always overproducing, keeping it kind of like in this niche, almost like cult underground following. That's what they do, even though it's like super known now. Like,
right.
Yeah, you can't hate on them. I've never been like a crazy Supreme head, but I can definitely understand why people go crazy for it.
Right, yeah. They have some dope shit for sure. They do.
Definitely.
And they made some weird shit. They put a fucking crowbar, like a literal crowbar, and all they do is they just put Supreme. Like they could literally just put Supreme on this stand and it would sell.
Yeah. And it's like the equivalent of like, for streetwear brand at least, it's like the equivalent of like a Louis Vuitton bat. If you see a Louis Vuitton bat, you're like, oh, that's so dope, man. It has a monogram across. And then if you see a Supreme bat, you're still gonna be like, oh shit, that's actually kind of dope. It's all red with the logo. Like,
right.
That's the years of work that they've put into like telling a story and gathering like a whole 3 decades, I guess, 2 decades now. Right. How long has it been around? Like crazy.
It's, as long as I remember.
Still relevant.
Yeah.
Like, still relevant. That's
relevancy is a big thing in clothing. I remember like Diamond. You remember Diamond? Yeah. That was the shit back in like grade 10 or 11 for me. And what do you think makes a brand have such high like longevity? You know what I mean? What keeps a brand going? What makes them, relevant all these years? If there is obviously not one thing, but like, is there like, have you figured it out? Are you trying to still,
It's a little bit difficult because I feel like with a brand like Supreme, I feel like they've kind of went into a skateboarding culture. Like that's what their foundation and that's what their root is in.
Hmm.
And it's kind of stayed around similarly throughout the years, but also expanded into different fields. Like people who don't skateboard wear Supreme because the brand is cool and it speaks for itself. It has like a meaning behind it. But then you have brands like Billionaire Boys Club, and then you don't really see it as much.
Right.
And I don't know if it's because they're not made in the places where they're used to be made, like Japan, where the quality was like insane. I still have my hoodies from high school.
Mm-hmm.
And or is it because they're not affiliated with a period of time that just doesn't exist anymore? That area, that like Snoop Dogg, Pharrell, like everyone wearing it in there. And again, it was kind of associated with skateboarding, but then I feel like it just kind of fell out. So I don't know if it's like has to do with their brand identity kind of changing and people not resonating with it, or what, but or the quality. But I don't know. It's difficult, man, because from one aspect, I don't necessarily want to stay the same. Like if I'm skateboarding now, I don't want to be I'm not going to be skateboarding 10 years or 20 years from now, right? But they've managed to still stay around with the same message, with the same roots, and grow from there. So I don't know. I haven't figured out the magic formula. I mean, we have to see, right?
I'm just thinking about like talking about it actually makes me go back to like, just like simple things like, old ass fucking like early 2000 music videos and just like the baggy ass shorts and pants and the what was the jeans that everyone wore? The Xanarobes were it was like the baggy blue.
Oh, the baggy ones. Oh,
baggy blue jeans. It was the
There's a bunch. There was like Evisu. There was like Fat Farm back in the day.
Yeah, Fat Farm was one of them. Fuck, it's in this one song I always listen to.
I had a lot of G Unit clothing when I was growing up.
G Unit, yeah.
Super fat,
like that G Unit vibe, damn.
Yeah, man. That was like the style. I used to wear like long tees down to here.
Yeah.
I was super chubby, and it was just like all the teachers were scared of me in elementary school, man. So funny.
Man. You know what's crazy? A moment in high school I remember, and I always tell people this, is when Tyler, Tyler, the Creator,
of course,
when he came out, he changed the whole game in fashion and attitude, like instantly. When his first music video, Yonkers, came out, I remember everyone started to wear Vans, skinny jeans, hoodies, the hat, what the fuck, snapbacks, dude. And like, for me, he was such a cool guy, and like what he represented, and like, how he really didn't give a fuck. As a young kid in high school, I was like, dude, that guy's dope. So I like started wearing like that kind of shit. I started wearing skinny jeans, Vans. So I also feel like it's like one person that like, resonates with everyone, then whatever that person's obviously wearing, it's like the main thing,
Yeah, like this is my idea of it all. Like this is how I think is like the recipe for success is targeting the kids, like in high school, elementary, whatever, giving them the brand, making sure they like it, and then growing old with them until whatever. And I feel like a brand like Fear of God, if you look at their first collection versus now, that's like Jerry Lorenzo growing up essentially in front of our eyes. You know, when he first came out, he had the long tees, curved tees, and like different silhouettes. And now he's like collaborating with Xenia, and he's like has like multiple kids to take care of. And in an interview, when you hear him talk, like he's like, yeah, obviously, like now I'm making a collection for kids because I have kids now. This is what I have to do. So if you target them, if you target like a population and you grow old with them and you keep giving them what they want as they're growing older, I feel like that's like beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then it kind of like cycles back, and then you're gonna be gone from the picture, where the brand will carry on. It'll just keep going and going and going. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or you can only go with a specific demographic. But I feel like it's super hard, man. Like if you want to just be like university kids or like high school, then it's just gonna change. There's always gonna be a cooler brand, you know.
Right.
Yeah, you saw that with like Hundreds as well. Like Hundreds is not around.
Right, I forgot about Hundreds. Yeah. That's true.
Still a dope, like A-Life.
A-Life, yeah.
I don't know what happened. They just kind of trickled off.
Right.
I still love them. Like I still like here and there when I see a piece, I'm like, oh shit, this is like memories, man. I got a copy.
Straight up, yeah. Just off of nostalgia, yeah. I can only imagine like, you know, a grade 9 kid pulling up to like English class with like a ProperDirty Pornhub hoodie, and the teacher's like, "Oh fuck, like Billy, like you can't be wearing that." It's like, Mr. Johnson, how do you know about it? Anyways, like, you know what I mean?
So funny story that did happen.
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to hear this.
Man, yeah, this it did happen in high school. Like, I think one of my homies' sisters or brothers, sister actually, she wore a piece from that collection, and the teacher was like, "This is not happening. Take it off."
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's like, okay, well, like, you know, like, what's the issue? It's not even.
Bro, like, look at the kids on TikTok nowadays. They're like wild and you think they don't know what, like, they know more than us, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But I guess it's not bad to have like a little bit of structure, but
yeah.
I mean, for stuff like that, I didn't put any like nudity or any crazy stuff, but I guess I'm sorry for offending.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, that's publicity, you know what I mean? It's controversy. Fuck, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, what happened? Like, did they make you take it off?" Yeah, it's, you know, it's a dope brand, and then they start looking at it, you know what I mean? If anything, it's fucking good it's publicity, you know what I mean?
That happened with us too, though. That happened. I remember when I was in high school. I don't know exactly remember. Like there was a couple of times I feel like, but that was like with an actual like nude model and like one of my homies. Like that's
just
like,
that's, that's
not acceptable. You know what I mean? We're in high school, so we're like, there was like that time where affliction was not allowed in like nightclubs and stuff because it was like related to gangs or stuff like that stuff. Okay, I understand it, but with this type of like, I feel like what I've put out, I mean, it's arguable, but as you said, I like that. I like those moments because I'm like, oh
yeah, it stirred some shit out, you know what I mean? It made some noise, you know?
For sure.
That's crazy, yeah. I actually remember, this is a random story that I just remembered, was when I was in grade 2, so I was really fucking young. I bought a Tupac shirt of him with the West Side, throwing up the West Side from his album cover, and it was just like a big freaking picture on it. Grade 2. I pulled up, and it was like a long tee, and my teacher told my mom, like, "Yo, you gotta, like, he can't be wearing that. He can't be wearing that in general, but definitely not in school." And then my mom's like, she just threw it away, and until this day, I'm pissed off, man.
That would have been a dope vintage piece right now.
Yeah, man, straight up, that would have been selling for so much right now. Fuck. Yeah, that was a great shirt. But so with, you know, because, you know, clothing and fashion, it's an art. At the end of the day, it's an art.
Yeah.
What keeps you going and what keeps you sharp? You know, like what really inspires you every day? I guess we already went over it, but is there something that you hold on to every day, getting up thinking, this is how I'm going to attack today in terms of, creating, coming up with new designs, or um, just that creative process? There's something that you hold on to?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I do is like at the start of the year for the past like 3 years or 4 years now, I write down a list of things that I want to do. Like they can be like the craziest shit, like the biggest goals ever, or like specifically down to like what the collection is going to be about. And I haven't even like started. Like I'm like, yeah, I want to tell this story and I want to tackle that, So I write that down, and I feel like that list just like works for me throughout the year. Subconsciously, the crazy thing is like 90% of the things that I write down at the start of the year come true at the end. Like the year prior, I wrote down, I had no idea like how I was gonna do it. Like open up your studio, like have your clothing be worn by so and so, like down to like names, when I was like, okay, so this is some real like, I don't know, knowledge, like what you can take away. I feel like this is the most important thing. Is in the summer I was like vlogging like random stuff, and I went to my garage. I like opened up old notebooks that I had from like grade 2, 3, whatever. And I like hadn't looked at it for like whatever, like 15 years or whatever. And I was like going through it. And like in grade, what was it, like 1 or 2? There was like this one page. It was like, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get this car. It's going to be this color. And like, bro, that's what I'm like, that's what I'm driving right now. Like subconsciously throughout the years, down to like what exactly the make of the model. Like I wrote down like what I wanted to do, So I was like, bro, this is fucking crazy, because I didn't know I wrote it down back then.
You didn't even remember that
No.
you wrote it down?
No.
That's so weird. That's trippy as shit.
He's so trippy. And before I launched ProperDirty, I wrote down exactly like what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna do it, what the collection is gonna be about, and then from that, every year or like every 6 months, I check back in and I'm like, fuck, like
damn,
we did it, Like
right.
That's like it's a thing called quantum. I learned about it. It's write down whatever you have in your head on paper and see it come true. Like if you take one thing away from this, like do it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that? Can you expand on quantum? Like a little bit more, just as much as you know about it.
Yeah. So basically everything that you have envisioned for yourself has already been done. Like essentially whatever you want yourself to be, whatever I want, like it's already been done. Whether it's today, tomorrow, or in a different time, it's already accomplished. It's already been done. So with that mindset, when you write it down, it essentially becomes true. Like you're seeing your own future. Like when I write it down, I don't have any like crazy expectations, but weirdly enough, 90% of it comes true, except for like the big stuff. Like I have like crazy goals that I'm like, I'm gonna be the biggest designer out of Vancouver, Like I write that down too, but I also write down like specific like I'm gonna sell out vintage Wet Dreams collection, like almost there,
So so you have like a grand goal and then little specific goals in between.
I'm gonna have clothing line be worn by Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Like these are the things that I wrote down. I swear to God, I'll bring it, and I'll show you, because I was gonna bring it, but it's in my studio, and every person that like I'm close with, like I've told them so many times, just write it down, bro. Like and the way it comes about is not necessarily you chasing it. Like it comes to you, You put your brain works towards doing stuff that puts you at a place that then that goal comes true.
Wow.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
He doesn't usually say anything, but he had to, because that was...
No, because I learned this from someone.
Yeah.
His name is Charlie Rocket. He was 2 Chainz manager. And he said that too. And I realized that, holy shit, I'm not like the only one doing this shit,
So you're also, when you write it down, you're also telling yourself, though, I have to still work for it. I can't just sit back
No. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are gonna, you know, misinterpret it a little bit maybe, but you obviously have to still, grind and learn and really put in the effort and just work towards it. But what you're saying is, as soon as you put it on paper, your mind subconsciously switches on in a way that makes you move a certain way towards it. Like, even if you don't want to, you're already moving towards that way.
Yeah. It's there now. You have to. Like, your mind is doing it. Even if you don't want to, like, your mind is like, yo, we have to get this done one way or another. Like, let's get to work. And for me, like, my biggest thing is, like, every day I have goals. Like, I have, like, in my notes, I have things that I got to get done that day. And I feel like the bigger goals are going to get done with these little goals getting done day to day. So it's every day. It's not just like tomorrow I'm going to wake up and it's going to happen. Some of the goals haven't come true yet. It's going to take time. Not everything is going to happen in a year, but I'm still going to look back and I'm going to be like, okay, shit, this hasn't happened yet. I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite this because I know.
What are you rewriting? Just a different approach to that goal, or do you know what I mean? What do you rewrite?
Certain things that are like huge, like they're like as I said, like I want to be the biggest streetwear designer out of Vancouver. Like, that's not something that's gonna happen within 2-3 years or even 5. It's just gonna take time that you're gonna have to put in. But I still write it down because deep down, like, I'm still working towards it. Or like certain financial, even like down to the dollar. I write it down. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm gonna go harder to make it come true. I keep writing it. If I surpass it, I'm gonna go extra mile. Like, let's take it up a notch.
So that's what you mean. If a certain goal that you write down, you either fail or haven't achieved it yet, you rewrite it. You write the same goal down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's never ending. Like, it's just gonna keep going. But then, thank God, like it's just 70, 75 to 80% of them do come true. Like, I shit you not. It just happens.
If you really, if
you want it bad enough, like, if you really want it, like, if you sit down and you're like coming up with that list and you reread it and you're like scared, it's a good thing.
Yeah, straight up, man.
I want it to be. I don't want to shoot for like, yeah, I'm gonna make like
this and then
this, and like, I already know I can do that. I want to do like crazy shit.
I want to be the biggest designer out of West Vancouver or Burnaby. I want to be the best designer out of Vancouver, all of Vancouver, and then all of Canada, and then the fucking world. Like,
before, like, I'm gonna throw an event for the next collection. It's gonna have this many people, and I'm gonna sell out all the tickets. I haven't even come up with the collection or the events. But they already are done.
Right.
Like, fast forward like 6 months, it's already sold out.
So is there a certain, I guess, rule in quantum if you do fail at a goal? Do you know what I mean? Because there is going to be failures.
Yeah.
Surely. I mean, is there a certain adjustment you have to make if you don't hit a goal? Is there, you know what I mean? Or
yeah.
Or do you even not even let that fucking creep in the first place? Like, you don't even.
I don't think like failure. There's no failure in that sense, because when I see the goals that haven't come true, it's just not time yet. Now it's gonna happen. Like, it's not time now, but it will eventually. And if I'm looking at it and I realize why, I ask myself, why hasn't it happened? Then I make the adjustments. Or if it's a grander thing, I just know that it's not time yet. I'm patient. At the end of the day, I'm patient. I'm not just like, it's not a yearly thing. I told you, like, it might be a decade goal. You know, it might be a half a decade goal.
Mm.
Sometimes it might be a 2-week goal. You know, I still have like short-term things. I write it down.
Mm.
Like there's short-term, long-term, big, small. There's a variety of different things, but I never feel like discouraged. If it doesn't come true, I know like I'm just gonna go find a different way.
Mm.
My mind is gonna work in a different way, and we're gonna make it happen.
Mm.
Sooner or later, it'll happen.
You just trust your mind so much that it's going to find a way, one way or another. If this way didn't work to get to that goal, it's gonna go around an obstacle. It's gonna go under, up, whatever.
100%. Like,
just to get to it, and it will, because
that's it. Like that's like my greatest thing. I feel like everyone's greatest gift is probably their minds, and like my willpower is probably like most bulletproof thing I have. I just have like the craziest willpower, and if I have like a mindset to do something, I just go and try and get it done. You know, whatever way possible. Like I'll go for it. And there's no like failing. Like everyone's just like, you learn something and then you adjust and you come back stronger and you make it happen again.
Right.
A different way.
You just haven't, like you said, it's just not the time yet.
Not the time yet. That's it. Not the time yet. And you sometimes pivot. You know, you pivot. If it's something that, if it's a goal that you write down and, you know, you're trying and maybe you envision it to happen for you in a year and it's been 2 or 3 years, you pivot. You go down a different path. You know? There's no like failure.
For sure.
The failure is not doing it, man. You know, that's the biggest.
It's almost you just have to take that word out of your vocabulary. It's just a setback or, an adjustment almost, not a failure. Right?
Not only does your mind work towards it when you write it down, but the universe will work for you. Like you'll see certain things happen that wouldn't happen if you're just laying around and you don't have these things in mind for yourself. Like once you really write it down, then you'll start working towards it and you'll end up somewhere that will lead you down a certain path. Whether that opportunity is brought to you by your own actions or the universe or people that you meet, you know, it just works.
Just works out. Wow. Yeah, man. One of my goals is I told Daniel is one of my biggest goals is to have Tyler Creator on this show.
Hell yeah.
And just, have him sitting across from me and like, it's scary. Like even when I say it, even when I think about it, I'm just like, wow, like that would be insane, and I get nervous thinking about it. And I'm literally going to go write it down as soon as I get home in like big capital letters, bro. Like
write the date down. Like all the notes are dated. So then you can look back like a year or like 6 months from now and you'll be like, yo, shit.
Yo.
Definitely. It's supposed to scare you, man.
Yeah.
That's the kind of goals that you want to set for yourself.
Yeah, a lot of people are scared, man. A lot of people, I wouldn't even say scared, but they just feel like it's almost near impossible, so they don't even try, so it's sort of like
sad, bro.
It's
and
a sad.
I don't wish that on anyone. I don't wish that like defeated mentality on anyone. Your hunger has to be eternal. Your mindset and your work ethic and your willpower, they have to be indestructible.
Right. Do you feel like you're driven from inside, from internally? Because there's obviously a lot of external materialistic things that drive people, right? And obviously at some point I want to get to a place where I can use this platform to get a certain thing, purchase whatever that car or whatever, So, but that's not my main motivation right now. My main motivation right now is just to create, and it's coming from an internal place where I get to talk to people and like-minded people and really just converse. Do you think that's where you're coming from right now? Is it mostly internal? Is there a little bit external? Is there a balance?
Yeah, I feel like I have different motivations for like in different things that I'm doing with like creating, with ProperDirty, and with fashion. I feel like I don't have, it's pure like love and passion and the art of creating and storytelling. Like I don't look at it monetary wise. I don't look at it as a way to financially benefit,
Mm.
you know. But with different things that you do in life, obviously, uh, whether like it's investing, trading, obviously, I'm trying to make money too. I like nice things, you know. I like
Yeah,
to
of
buy nice things and
course.
keep elevating. So, but my main motivation isn't necessarily. I feel like in life, if you're asking, like my motivation is definitely to always be a better version of myself and to make people happy with the products that I put out, to make them confident, to make their lives essentially better and easier. I feel like that's the main motivation, just to better off people.
Mm.
Because when you make people feel a certain way, it just like comes back to you, you know,
Mm.
and you feel great about it. Like,
Straight up, yeah, yeah.
if they give you the positive feedback and
Mm.
people tell me, "Yo, I got 2 compliments today," it's like I got that compliment, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And yeah, it's definitely internal, man.
yeah,
It's an ongoing
yeah.
journey. It's never ending.
Speaking of that, clothing is a very it almost becomes like a part of your character. Like it's it's very, you know, if you're wearing something dope and you go to school or whatever, you feel like you're on top of the world. You know, you already know like, yo, people are gonna look at me. People are gonna like be like, hey, like this guy's decked out. You know, like it's a confidence booster by all means,
For sure.
and
Yeah.
that's the beauty of fashion, man. And if you can bring that into like people's lives, of people that are, you know, maybe lacking confidence or going through whatever, and just like really, you know, expressing themselves through the product, then like you said, that's a win.
That's a win, bro.
Mm.
And leaving like a legacy behind
Mm.
for like who you were,
Mm.
not necessarily like how much you've accomplished, for like who you were as a person to people, like how they felt when they're around you, and like how you treated them, what you did, like how you created an opportunity and all of that. I feel like that's like
how they remember you and
that's
stuff
the goal,
like
man.
that. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know.
So man, I really gotta get into this, but
Sure.
my boy, he tagged me in the video with Jake Paul. I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it. I was like, why is there a video of Jake Paul? And then boom, I see the shirt, ProperDirty. He's wearing it.
Yeah.
So man, take us through that whole thing. How did it happen? Did you like what the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah. I was just like on Instagram, and then I got a DM from this guy, and he was like, "Yo, I'm Jake Paul's stylist, and we're shooting a music video tomorrow. Can you send some stuff?" And I was like, "This is like I get like tens of DMs saying like I'm like this stylist, and I've actually sent pieces before where it's like it goes nowhere, and they actually are stylists of like."
Oh wow.
You know, and it just never goes anywhere. So I was like, I just played along. I was like, yeah, what's up, man? Like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, we're the Nate Robinson fight was happening, you know, and he was like, can you get it tomorrow? I was like, yeah, bet, like, no worries. Meanwhile, like Vancouver to LA, you know, it's gonna be a few days, bro, minimum. Even if like expedited shipping, like it's not gonna get there the next day. So I got the address. I put it in Google. I'm like, oh shit, it's in Calabasas. Like, it's called Park South. And his song was called Park South Freestyle. So I was like, okay, so this is legit. Now I have the address. So I just created a package. I sent it to him. And the fight happened. Obviously, I knew it's not going to be used for the music video and all that. So the fight happened. I saw that it's been delivered for a couple weeks, like no nothing. So I shot him a message. I was like, hey, bro, like, did you get the package?
Yeah,
like, what's up? And he's like, what package? And I sent him the confirmation. And he just saw it and didn't say anything. And I was like, fuck, like another case of, you
just
know,
some
going off
weird
nowhere.
scammer or like some random.
Yeah. So like 3 weeks or something went by. It was like in December. I like wake up, like marketing teams like blowing up my phone. Like, what the fuck, Jake Paul's wearing your shit, you know? I was like, what? They sent me the TikTok and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So it actually got to him. And he actually wore it. And
wow.
then yeah, man, it just kind of grew from there. And then kind of like I'm in talks with like Logan's camp and like Jake's stylist, obviously. So
Yeah.
they definitely both have a few of the pieces.
Why did Jake's stylist just? Why was he confused? Why did he not know what the package was? Because there's
You
just,
probably get 100 packages.
yeah,
Bro.
yeah. There's so many things going on. He had no idea.
Like, and like even afterwards, I just like Googled Jake Paul's address, and it's like, yo, it's up there. You know, if you want to send him a package, you can easily send him a package.
Oh
like,
fuck, is it?
Yeah, like a lot of these celebrities like houses, they're up there, but you can send 100 things if you don't have a connection with people who are in their team or are close with them, then they're just not gonna touch it. So thank God, like this guy actually is pretty dope. Like I talk to him regularly. I'm like, yo, you know what's going on?
This is the stylist you're talking about. Yeah.
So I know that if I'm sending it to him, like it has a higher chance. And like for kids who have clothing brands or like whatever, you know, build a relationship with the team around them rather than trying to just go for the
directly to the source.
They don't like that, you know. Usually they don't like that. Just they hear it all day. Like, yo, listen to my song. Check out my clothing brand. But like if you get close with their stylist, their DJ, their photographer, like these are the people that are gonna put you in a place if they fuck with you.
Right.
That's like the biggest thing.
Damn, that's like a perfect example of just, you know, networking and getting to know people and being genuine. Because, you know, if you weren't genuine, this guy could probably sense and he's like, fuck off, dude. Like, you're just trying to sell your shirt. Like, you know, like.
Yeah. And you just be yourself and obviously like be nice and send them some shit too, not just like so they
So was that video, like, was it real? Was Jake Paul actually pissed in that video, or was that a prank?
I don't think so, bro.
Yeah, that was.
No, I think it was just one of those like TikToks that just like he does to like piss people off.
He's
good at it, man. He's good at pissing people off. You know,
that's like a perfect person to have wear your shirt at this point in time right now too. That guy is
buzzing for sure.
He's for like the stupidest reasons. He's a funny guy. I won't say anything bad about him because he's definitely, you know, he's smart. He's marketing his brand better than anyone right now.
Yeah, man.
Pissing people off, and that's crazy. And then you actually sent another one of your products to Pomeroy, the what's his name? Pomeroy?
I don't know which one. Who's that?
It's the dude. He was like opening up packages, and he had one of your shirts and he wore it live. He's like, "Oh, let's ProperDirty. Let's wear it."
Oh, I'm not sure if you're talking about the Bentley boys, like Levi Bentley and Zach. Yeah. Like again, like that's just like I established a relationship with them and I sent them a package. So there's Portnoy, Dave Portnoy as well.
Portnoy, that's who I'm talking about.
That's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I knew it was like Pomeroy, Portnoy, whatever. Who is that? Is he the Spin Chicklets guy or no?
No, he's like the owner of Barstool Sports.
Barstool, yeah, that guy. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. It's so funny, bro. I just sent him like I like to eat ass sticker, and for whatever, like the most colorful pattern shirt, because like he wears like, you know, like colorful like button ups and stuff like that. I was like, he's probably gonna like this, and for whatever reason, he's like, this smells like a million cigarettes, and I was like, what? Like, brand new shirt, but it was like perfect because like it got a reaction out of him, and people were like, oh shit, this is this guy, you know.
So you just sent him a piece and like he just opened it live, like he was just like
like at the start of quarantine, he was doing these live box openings that were really like starting to pick up. Like his lives had like thousands of people watching it. So I just sent him a package, not thinking anything of it, and he opened it. He was like, "Yo, shout out like British Columbia." And he read the actual note, and
that's crazy. Yeah, it's that guy Portnoy, the Barstool Sports guy.
Yeah.
Wow. So after those videos with Jake Paul and Portnoy, did you see? And you obviously saw an increase of engagement and that was obviously really fucking cool.
Engagement and like demand for those specific pieces. Immediately, you know. So obviously with like seeding or with like getting influencers or celebrities to wear your clothes. Obviously, it has its benefits. It's always like a shot in the dark. You never know if they're gonna wear it or not, but when they do, it hits.
It hits.
And that's it. And now to this day, everyone's like, "Oh, can you restock that?" And I'm like,
"Shit, I might. Yeah, god damn it.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Wow, man.
Yeah.
So, what do you? I know this is like there's probably no answer to this, but what do you envision ProperDirty in the next 5 years? Are you going to branch out into different things? Are you what's the future for ProperDirty? If they're, if you can
Yeah, man, I think the future is a system of production which will be completely done by ProperDirty for ProperDirty and maybe other brands. And what I mean by that is when I have an idea, I won't necessarily have to bust my ass to make it happen. I can have people in-house who are pattern drafting, who are sewing, who are sample making, and who are producing essentially the whole production line. Because it's difficult doing that locally in Vancouver. Like I make all the clothes here or in Toronto. And it's very costly, and I need I see an expansion in a team of people who believe in the same thing that I do for the brand. Whether it's like graphic designers and marketing, like everything will be kind of coming together. So I see that happening. I don't know if it'll be like a supreme thing where it's just like not sold anywhere else other than like the boutiques. I like that kind of like underground like boutique vibe rather than wholesale. But I don't know, maybe 5 years from now we'll see, like if the opportunity is amazing and the money is like crazy, and I see it expanding,
just
and
rolling in that money,
yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll see what happens with that, but I see an expansion for sure. I see the brand being a global brand within 2 years.
Damn.
If not within, like, I have some stuff planned, and then
just overall, just growth and expansion. Just keep growing every day in any way possible.
Yes,
that's like the main goal.
That's
the main goal.
Yeah, 100%.
And then everything else is just an outcome of, emphasizing the growth every day.
For sure, and that's just for like the business side, but like expanding into I just want to create, and I feel like before COVID, like the events that I was throwing and the elements that were all coming together, the different like artists, the performers that were coming together under ProperDirty's event and showcasing for the city like what we have to offer, that was like the funnest thing. And whenever I make a collection, I see the full thing through. I already in my head, I envision like what the venue is going to look like, what kind of music is there going to be, so doing that for the next 5 years is definitely going to be a thing, and just expanding that. Like the sky is the limit. I want to throw like, I don't want to throw like club parties. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I want to throw like really cool cultural events with like performances, whether it's like theater infused with like clothing or like a boxing match, like the thing that I had planned for March of last year or April, I had the place picked out. I wanted to have a ring and have like amateur, because I'm a boxer too a little bit, and I wanted to bring in like actual like amateur boxers. I'm not really about that life. Don't come at me, guys.
Yeah, I make clothes. I can fucking get gangster on you if I wanted to.
Yeah. And actually like have that be a part of the event, because it was inspired by Fight Club, and I wanted to have amateur boxers come and actually like spar or actually fight, and then have people walking around and checking out the clothes, and then have this like spotlight on it, like shit like that. That's what I think about, like things that events that are going to be blowing people away, like make them remember something, you know?
Right, because no one's doing that. No one. Yeah, I've never heard of that. It's just
Yeah.
it's cool. You know, it's really cool. Like, why not?
Yeah.
You know, just creating and just even like throwing like I just thought of it like a music festival, like ProperDirty music festival. You know, just like bringing big time artists and have them wear your clothes. Like, just anything. Sky's the limit, like you said. At the end of the day, it's very. You know, there's always room to just explode. You know, onto the scene.
Definitely, bro. There's no limit.
Yeah.
It's all in here, you know?
It's all in here. Quantum. I'm going to go write down like everything.
Definitely.
Every little thought that comes up, I'm writing it down.
Yes, bro.
But man, this has been fun.
It's been amazing.
Thank you for coming, man. I learned a lot. I'm very inspired. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to actually buy your the floral, not the summer button up with like the 2 different colors on each side.
Yes.
I'm probably gonna cop that pretty soon. I need that. I need to lose some weight, but I mean,
we all do, bro.
You know, but that's just that's gonna be on the list for sure.
I appreciate you having me on, man. It was my first podcast, and definitely a pleasure being here.
Appreciate you, man.
Don't stop, bro. I want to see that Tyler the Creator episode happen.
Hey, man, today's the day. I'm speaking it. I'm gonna write it down into existence, and we'll see what happens, brother. Episode 11. Enjoy your 24. Ashkan, ProperDirty. Peace.
Peace.